What's up, everybody? It's your pal, the Coin Guy. I'm here in Belfast. I've just finished the EAA 2023 conference, and I've got another museum behind me. So if you remember last year, it was Budapest. This year it's Belfast. So we're going to check out the Ulster Museum, a museum dedicated to Irish history, and we're going to see some coins, especially some very nice Spanish coins, and I'll see what else I can teach you and what I can learn too. I hope you enjoy. So the museum is dedicated to the history and culture of Ireland as a whole. As you can see, it's not just history itself, but you also have some other things. There's some stuff about natural geography, animals. They have a nice collection, as you can see, as well, of Chinese ceramics and things like that. They've got dinosaurs too, which, you know, everybody loves that. And oh hey, I know that guy. They had some nice stuff you can see about elements and these sort of things, which is cool. It, I think, adds a little more interest to things, not just simply a good old-fashioned history museum. And hey, they've got coins, you know, everybody loves that. So this was good to see, basically breaking it down into like what are coins actually made of. So you can see most of these are modern, but you know, it still helps facilitate the understanding, especially for, say, young kids. We have our good buddy the Cyclops, who I've mentioned before in other videos. There's actually an elephant skull, and many suspect that this sort of thing is where the idea of the Cyclops comes from, right? People thought that the big hole that we're seeing, which is actually the nasal cavity, was the eye hole, which is actually to the sides of the skull that you can see there. So many people suspect that the remains of elephants, especially like pygmy elephants, which are no longer around, are where we got this idea of the Cyclops. So the history portion of the museum is very much timeline based. So it goes from, you know, Paleolithic, early peoples, and as well as you can see, they're prehistoric Ireland, and then moves onwards. It's got some nice stuff on display, especially some very nice gold from burials, this sort of thing, which is always lovely to see. And they've also got some nice displays of stuff that they've broken down in a way so that kids can play with things and they can kind of understand how these things work. They've also got a lovely little, believe it's temporary exhibit about a mummy. I will not show the mummy itself because it's a little bit graphic, but it's there. You can see a lot of detail, which is nice in its own right. We get, you know, medieval. Medieval is particularly fun for me because that is more the time period that I study. And as both myself and some other people who work in that region were saying, most of us have never learnt this stuff. As you can see, there was some kids who were obviously able to put together this brooch. I couldn't figure it out. Maybe that's just dexterity skills on my part. In the history section, there were some very nice coins on display as well. This is great for me because I've obviously never learnt the history of Ireland, or at least not in any sort of, you know, heavy detail. So stuff like this was some of the earliest coins minted in Ireland. And you even had some later stuff which was more based around the British, which, you know, no matter where you land on the political spectrum, it is important to understand these coins in order to understand the region. So you can see some stuff here. These are British and Scottish kings mostly. I believe there's some Henry VIII there, if I remember correctly. And these give a nice overview of the coinage of the region, and that's always nice to see. And also the way they would have been used as well. So one of the most unique things that they had, which I actually didn't realize was a thing, was they actually have one of the largest collections of the Spanish Armada. I was actually not fully aware that many of the ships from the Spanish Armada sank near what is now Ireland, or, you know, the Republic of Ireland. Sorry, I should say the island of Ireland. And what that means is that a lot of the stuff from the sinkings are actually now in Irish hands. So they showed some nice Aztec stuff, as you can see here, in order to give some context to Spanish coin usage, which is lovely. And they also had some very beautiful gold and silver coins. So if you know, like a piece of 8, you know, classic pirate treasure that we always hear about, they had a number of those on display, which were very well preserved and just beautiful to look at. I mean, look at that. That is the archaeological dream right there, to find something like that. So these are gold pieces and then silver pieces of 8. They're called pieces of 8 because they would have been worth 8 reals. I'm probably butchering the Spanish there. My apologies to my Spanish colleagues. Of course, 8 reals, pieces of 8, pirate treasure. That's the connection there. So this is a very nice collection they have on display here of Spanish Armada treasures. And I didn't realize they had one of the largest collections. This was a very nice treat for me. And that's it for today's visit. I'm checking out some other sites in Belfast now before I go catch my plane. So I hope you enjoyed my visit to the Ulster Museum. I hope you learned something. If you guys have museums that you think I should check out, feel free to give me a shout. Tell me where, and I'll see what I can do. Take care, y'all, and see you next time. Bye-bye.